Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Rosenthal. Thank you, everybody from ISOJ. And thanks for everybody to be here on this time, late afternoon on a Saturday. This all started about 3 years ago when I got fired from the newspaper I was working for more than 20 years. And from the passion for journalism and newsletters was the major tool that we used to build up a news outlet in Brasilia. I'm going to show you a very quick video of the whole operation, and then I'm going to concentrate more on newsletters just right after this, which is only 1 minute and 40 seconds. Well, thanks. When minutes after it was public that I was leaving the newspaper I worked for, I got a phone call from some friends. Rosenthal was on one of them, and he told me, well, this is the right time for you to start something digital only, something new in Brazil, in Brasilia. Brasilia is the capital of Brazil, and it has a particular idiosyncrasy as compared to all the countries in the world, the size of Brazil, or with that similar landscape. We don't have, in the capital of the country, no media outlet with national relevance, national influence independently in terms of finance and editorial. So I decided I should do something and build up something in Brasilia with the help of some friends. Of course, that was very difficult at that time. It is still today. I am sort of a geek in terms of reading stuff about the media industry, and I read a lot about Politico before I started this. Axios was not around at the time 3 years ago, and I remember Politico had that private investment fund behind it. We tried with some friends to find out something like that in Brazil. It was not possible. Then, at that time, it was the end of 2014, beginning of 2015, I received so many emails from friends and also from the sources I had in Brasilia. Then I noticed, well, I might well have the private email, the Gmails, whatever, from many congressmen, from ministers, from people in the government, from people in the opposition parties, even from 8 of 11 of the Supreme Court justices in Brazil, they were all emailing me. And I said, well, why not start something as a newsletter first? So I invited 2 friends who were already working around, and we started a newsletter drive once a day. Also, there was this guy, this very good friend of mine, Manuel Fernandes in São Paulo, who ran this consulting company called Bytes. And he had this idea of using the stuff that I was already producing in my previous job as a newsletter. So we started once a day with 3 people. And how could we build up an audience without a website, without having any big company behind us? Well, first of all, I pick up all my agenda, the list of emails that I had, and I gave to the sources, congressmen, senators, ministers, Supreme Court justices, lots of people that hang around in Brasilia, important people from the opposition, the government, and gave them a pro bono subscription. I don't charge them at the beginning, and I still don't charge them today. It was a paid newsletter, but we decided that in Brazil it would be very complicated to have some business that was based upon public money. So we run away from that. And then I hired someone in São Paulo who was doing the commercial side of the business, and the paid subscription started to pour in. To make a long story short, we started up with 3 people 3 years ago. We have now more than 30 people working on this business. Some of them are already getting equity in the business, and Poder 360, Poder 360 has 1,100 approximately paid subscribers. And that is enough to sustain not only the newsletter business, but also the other verticals of the news outlet, which are the website, a division of opinion posts, and an event operation that we have with dinners, social gatherings. When we have the sources coming in, we invite, of course, the whole media as well. They're open events. They are reserved in the sense that are limited seats, but they are entirely open, and they are, of course, they get a lot of media coverage on the next day. So that's very good for us as well. What else should I say? Why did we not start as a free newsletter and selling ads inside the Drive, the newsletter we now have as a paid newsletter? It would be very difficult to have a massive audience for a newsletter that was just beginning. Now we have a new one which is already being sent free of charge to anyone who goes to the website and put his or her email there. But the Drive is still in terms of revenue streams for us, the top of the list for our business. It gives us around 80% of the revenue of Poder 360. One of the tricks that I have lots of things that I've noted here, but one of the tricks that I wanted to share with you was that this decision to have the newsletter being sent pro bono without charging the sources in Brasilia eventually resulted in building up some sort of private social network for that environment of the powers that be in Brasilia. Everybody reads the Drive nowadays. Yesterday, I was here for the first day of ISOJ, and I spent probably a few hours exchanging emails and messages with the team in Brasilia and also with the Speaker of the House in Brazil, because there was one small note that he was not happy with that. He was complaining about it. There was this huge discussion, and this is all about a newsletter that has only 1,100 subscribers, which means that we became relevant to the point that when we publish something, someone is not happy with that, they will call us, and the subscribers that pay to us a premium price for having access to the drive are happy with that, because they don't have that service being given to them by the mainstream media. The mainstream media in Brazil, of course, that's not news. Everybody knows that, as in every other country is facing a lot of problems, difficulties, lots of layoffs, to the point that in Brasilia, our newsroom nowadays is one of the largest in the capital. So that's basically it. Thank you very much. I hope I can explain a little more. Thank you.